Line. I'm your host, Dyah. Joining me tonight is Hassan who will be interviewing Jonathan and Nicholas Mclennon, two talented young St. Lucian swimmers. Later in the program, we hope to have much discussion on the weekend football events. We start off tonight with West Indies Test captain Dyah saying that he was extremely delighted with the steps his side have taken in achieving their goals in the longest version of international game. West Indies are now fifth-ranked Test side in the world, following the latest update of the ICC Test rankings table. It comes in the wake of an historic 24-run victory for Zimbabwe in the second and final test of their series against Pakistan on Saturday at the Harare Sports Club. The two-test series was drawn 1-1, and the Pakistanis, ranked number 4 before the series, conceded 5 ratings points, dropping them behind Australia and West Indies. During an interview, Sami said, "One of our goals has always been to be in the top 5 by 2015. As a test team, we have worked really hard in the last 3 years, and to achieve that goal 2 years early is a plus for us." He continued, "We now have to continue working harder in order for us to keep moving forward." Massive praise must go to our head coach Otis Gibson and his staff for creating the atmosphere where we as players can go out and work hard for each other and for our fans in the Caribbean and everywhere else. This is a massive step in the right direction, and we will continue to strive for excellence for the cause of putting West Indies cricket back on top of the world cricket. The journey continues, says Sami, St. Lucian-born West Indies captain. Gibson said at a media press conference this past week in Barbados that his side was targeting the climb into the top 5 at the end of the upcoming test series against New Zealand on the road in November to December. But they have now achieved the target 3 months ahead of schedule. If you look at the last 6 tests, Gibson, we won them. He said at the time, it's been good progress, but I know people aren't considering them as big wins. Against India, however, we can really gauge the progress. I'd never discount wins against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh today because they are upcoming and talented. But India will be an immense challenge, and we're looking forward to it, Gibson added. We were in India a couple of years ago and played good cricket, but didn't win. Now the team dynamic is different, and with Chris Gayle back, we give a tougher run. The test rankings table, unlike the ICC One-Day International rankings table, is updated only after the conclusion of current series. West Indies face India in 2 tests in November before flying to New Zealand for Series 3 tests. The Windies last visited India in November to December 2011 when they lost a 3-match test series to New. The drawn 3rd match was the dramatic Mumbai test that ended with the scores level. The Caribbean side last stopped New Zealand in 2008-2009, drawing a 2-test series near nil. In the Cricket Champions League, Sunrise Hyderabad make their debut on the back of some impressive performances during the qualification stage of the tournament. Led admirably by Shikhar Dhawan, they have shown to be deserving candidates for promotion with an emphatic 8-wicket win over Kandirata Maroons and an equally convincing 7-wicket victory over Islamabad Wolves to confirm their participation in the Champions League. Boasting some of the best T20 bowlers in the world, Trinidad and Tobago will be a significant challenge. They completed a 25-run win over the Brisbane Heat in the second match of the group stage, with Ravi Ramdal helping them defend 135 with 4 for 14. Their attack is well balanced, with Sunil Narayan, Samuel Badri, and Rayad Emmet, who are also capable of running through a lineup. Their batting may not be as strong as it could be, with the unavailability of Kieran Pollard and Jim Bravo, but they still feature some fine internationals in Lendl Simmons, Darren Bravo, and Danesh Ramlin. This could very well be a battle between 2 strong bowling attacks. Dhawan has been in imperious form, but if he were to be nipped out early, it would be interesting to see how Sunrises counteract. While the middle order was tested somewhat by Otago in the previous match, with Mini stepping up with 57, there are still some questions to be answered in how well they can respond in a crisis. They will continue to rely on the big hitters, Cameron White, St. Lucia's Darren Sammy, and Tisaya Pereira to help them out under circumstances. TNT had a successful inaugural addition to the Champions League T20, making it to the final before losing to New South Wales. Since then, however, they have suffered a forgettable record, having failed to make the cut in 2010 and 2011 and not progressing out of the group stage in 2012. They will hope to begin correcting this with the first encounter against Hyderabad. On to football. Europe's premier competition, the Champions League, returned this week. The teams in respective domestic leagues will be competing against each other for the holy grail of club football. Real Madrid started with a battering of Galatasaray 6-1, with Ronaldo scoring a hat-trick. Benzema scored 2 and Pepe added another. Barcelona kept the momentum up as well with a 4-1 drumming of Ajax. None other than Lionel Messi also getting a hat-trick, with Piqué getting the fourth. All eyes were on Old Trafford, however, as David Moyes took charge of his first Champions League game at home. To his delight, Wayne Rooney put on a masterclass display to earn the spot all 3 points, with a 4-2 victory over Bayer Leverkusen. Man City probably has the easiest pick of the draw, and were away to Glen. They won convincingly with a 3-0 victory. Toure, Dzeko, and Aguero were the goal scorers. Arsenal found it difficult at Marseille, but emerged with a 2-1 victory. Goals came from the informed Ramsey and Walcott. Bayern Munich was spectacular, as always, and dismissed CSKA Moscow with a 3-0 win. Rafa Benitez's Napoli made life difficult for Dortmund and defeated them 2-1 at home, continuing a splendid start to the season for Rafa Benitez. But the shock of the competition was Bayer, coming back from a goal down to win 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. Although Bayer had no mugs, yet the talented Chelsea looked like running away with the game, only to be stunned. Elsewhere, Atletico Madrid beat Zenit St. Petersburg 3-1, and AC Milan beat Celtic 2-0. Porto won away at Vienna 1-0, and Real Sociedad lost at home to Shakhtar Donetsk 2-0. Edison Cavani scores his first Champions League goal for PSG as they beat Olympiacos 4-1 away from home. Benfica made light work of Anderlecht, beating them 2-0 at home, and Schalke dominated Star Bucharest to win 3-0. The next round of games will be played on 1st and 2nd October of this year. Liverpool's unbeaten run, reflecting the best start to the season since 2003 came to an end in the Barclays Premiership with defeat to Southampton at home. The Reds saw Southampton score from a set piece and had no reply, try as they may. Everton were away at West Ham with the Upton Park club very strong at home under Sam Allardyce, and indeed they took the lead early with a goal from Morrison, only to see the Merseysiders equalize with a free kick from Leighton Baines. West Ham went in front again with a penalty from Mark Noble, West Ham's longest-serving player, only for him to be booked a second time on the 81st minute and see red. Leighton Baines stepped up and scored again with another brilliant free kick, resounding Roberto Martinez's desire to keep him. The Englishman remains an Everton stalwart. On came Lukaku for Everton, who pounced on an aerial ball and scored brilliantly to give the Toffees the lead, and ultimately all 3 points with a 3-2 win. Paul Lambert returned to Norwich, where he was unceremoniously dismissed as head coach. His Aston Villa team took the lead and held on to win, regardless of how much Chris Hughton's Norwich pressed. The game concluded 1-0. Sunderland succumbed to some horrible defending and lackluster performances to record another loss for the season. Most bizarre was manager Paulo Di Canio's reaction afterwards, as he walked towards the fans, stood on the pitch, and gesticulated with his hands, wanting some kind of dialogue with them. Chelsea and the notoriously controversial Jose Mourinho on the back of a loss in the Champions League took on Fulham, who hasn't won a West England derby as yet, since they were promoted to the Premier League in 2001. Jose fielded questions about leaving Juan Mata and David Luiz out of his side in a pre-match conference, and as he was very forthcoming with his reasons, stating in summary that he needed to improve to earn a place. Mourinho placed confidence in the young Brazilian Oscar to do the job, and he repaid his manager by putting on a fine display of playmaking and scoring the opener. Donald Mikel got the second to give Mourinho a continued unbeaten record at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. Mesut Ozil continues his great start to life in London and inspires Arsenal with a 3-1 win over Stoke. Crystal Palace were beaten at home by the Carling Cup champion Swansea 2-0 in a wonderful display of possession football. Steve Bruce's Hull went to Northumbria and dealt a crushing blow to Newcastle, winning 3-2. The pressure mounts ever so steadily on Alan Pardew. The most anticipated Manchester derby, which saw 2 new managers in Moyes and Pellegrini square up for the first time, got underway in mid-morning Eastern Time, and the noisy neighbours, as the former Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson called City, were rampant and electrifying, and scored 4 goals against an ambulatory United. Wayne Rooney, in his own right, had another outstanding performance and scored a stunning free kick. As a consolation, the wonder Jose Mourinho was desperate to buy him. Finally, in the Barclays Premiership, Tottenham Hotspurs are continuing their amazing start to the season with a last-minute exquisite flick that nestled in the net by one of their new signings, Paulinho, who cost them £17 million over the summer. What an acquisition he is turning out to be. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich drew level on points with Borussia Dortmund at the top of the table with a 4-0 victory at fellow champions Lakeside Charter. Bastian Schweinsteiger and Mario Mandzukic both scored in the space of 2 first-half minutes, as last season's treble winners inflicted Charter's heaviest home league defeat since 1981. Frank Ribery and Claudio Pizarro completed the rout with 2 late goals. No doubt, the argument is being made that Pep Guardiola may have made Bayern Munich a bit better. Earlier, Dortmund lost their 100% win record with a 1-1 draw at Nuremberg. Bayern and Dortmund both have 16 points from 6 games, and Klopp's team still on top because of a better goal difference. Elsewhere, Bayer Leverkusen had temporarily taken second spot from Bayern with a 4-1 win at Mainz in an earlier kickoff, with Robbie Cruz scoring twice for Sami Hyypiä's side. What an excellent start to the ex-Liverpool defender's managerial career. Leverkusen currently sits third with 15 points behind Bayern and Dortmund, with Hannover 96 fourth after beating Esbjerg 2-1 in the North Germany derby. Hamburg, the only team to have played in the Bundesliga every season since its creation in 1963, lost 2-0 to visitors Werder Bremen. In Serie A, 5 goals to help their side to that superb 7-0 win. Diego Milito grabbed 2 in his first game in 7 months following injury, while Rodrigo Palacio, Ricky Alvarez, and Esteban Cambiaso also noted. Walter Mazzarri's side remain unbeaten in the league this season, after 4 games having won 3 and drawn 1. Roma maintained their 100% record with a 2-0 victory over Lazio. Roma leads Serie A with a maximum 12 points from 4 games, just ahead of Napoli on goal difference. Rafael Benitez's side are the only other team to still hold a 100% winning record after earning a 2-1 win at AC Milan. Elsewhere, Carlos Tevez and Fernando Llorente scored for champions Juventus in the 2-1 win over Verona. Juventus sits on 10 points along with Inter and Fiorentina, who recorded a 2-0 victory at Inter. At the moment, Roma are on top, followed by Napoli, with Inter 3rd, Fiorentina 4th, and Juventus 5th. AC Milan are leading in 10th position. In France, Paris Saint-Germain missed the chance to overtake Monaco at the top of France's Ligue 1 as top Europe's emerging financial giants shared a 1-1 draw. Slovene striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic put PSG ahead with a 5th-minute volley before Monaco's Radamel Falcao, a £50 million summer signing, leveled in 21 minutes. However, PSG's £55 million acquisition Edison Cavani spoiled 2 stoppage time chances which could have clinched it. The draw maintains Claudio Ranieri's Monaco's 2-point lead over PSG after 6 games in Ligue 1. Elsewhere in the French top flight, there were plenty of goals as Lyon beat Nantes 3-1, Nice thrashed Valenciennes 4-0, and Lorient drew 3-3 with Bordeaux. Gareth Bale failed to make his home debut for Real Madrid on Sunday after suffering an injury in the pre-match warm-up at the Bernabeu. Bale, signed from Tottenham for a world record fee of £85 million in the summer, was replaced by Isco minutes before the start of Real's 4-1 win against Getafe. The 24-year-old forward for Wales made a goal-scoring debut for Real in last weekend's 2-2 draw at Villarreal. He also came on as a substitute in the midweek 6-1 victory over Galatasaray. Bale appeared to suggest to Real's medical staff he had a problem with his left thigh as the sides warmed up. A few moments later, it was announced that Spain international Isco would replace Bale in the starting 11, with Rafael Varane filling in on the bench. Afterwards, Real Madrid director Emilio Butragueño said the Wales international's injury did not appear to be serious and that he would undergo tests today. He felt something, and it was more for precaution than anything else, said Butragueño. Real fell behind against Madrid-Midas Getafe, who scored after 4 minutes through midfielder Angel Lafita. However, Carlo Ancelotti's side leveled with a quarter of an hour when Portuguese defender Pepe bungled in from close range. Cristiano Ronaldo, who else, converted a 33rd minute penalty to put Real ahead, and at the break, Isco scored his 5th goal since his £23 million summer move from Malaga for a 3-1 victory. Getafe reduced to 10 men when defender Michel received a late red card for holding down Real substitute Jesse Rodriguez, before Ronaldo noted his second with a cheeky backheel in injury time. Real moved third in La Liga with 13 points from 5 games, and are 2 behind John Lewis Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who both maintained perfect starts with wins on Saturday. Pedro Rodriguez scored a hat-trick as Barcelona won 4-0 at Rayo Vallecano to maintain the 100% start to the La Liga season. The striker opened the scoring with an angle shot before Victor Valdez kept the visitors in front with a penalty save from Roberto Pachoras. The Spain forward tapped in the second 2 minutes after halftime when he converted Cesc Fabregas' delivery. He had his third from short range before Fabregas slotted in a fourth. Surprisingly, Lionel Messi scored no goals. The win puts Gerardo Martino's side in 15 points after 5 games, with Atletico Madrid in second, also with 15 points, but with an inferior goal difference, followed by Villarreal and Real Madrid on 10 points, who have both played 4 games. In Saturday's other matches, Raul Garcia and Diego Costa scored to help Atletico Madrid build Valladolid 2-0 and keep pace with Barcelona at the top of the table. Real Sociedad were held to a nil-nil draw by Malaga, while 10-man Almeria lost a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 at home to Levante. At the moment, the biggest story in football is the sacking of Paulo Di Canio, the Sunderland manager, after a poor start to the season left the Black Cats bottom of the Premier League table. The 45-year-old Italian has won 3 of his 13 matches since being appointed in March and taken only 1 point from 5 league games this campaign. An announcement from the Sunderland board states, we will be making an announcement in due course regarding a permanent successor, the club statement read. In the meantime, coach Kevin Ball will take charge of the first team squad. Sunderland now looking for the 6th permanent manager in less than 5 years. The statement added, the club would like to place on record its thanks to Paulo and his staff and wishes them well for the future. Ball's opening duty is to prepare the side for Tuesday's Rome Cup 31 Cup third round match against Peterborough United at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland then hosts Liverpool on Sunday and Manchester United on 5th of October, with the rear-time derby against Newcastle on 27th October. After guiding Swindon to promotion from League 2 in 2012, the Canios succeeded Martin O'Neill at the Stadium of Light on 31st March, but later admitted he feared the sack with the immediate controversy of his arrival. In Formula One racing, Sebastian Vettel dominated the Singapore Grand Prix to edge ever closer to a 4th consecutive title. The Red Bull level leads Fernando Alonso Ferrari, who finished second by 60 points, with only 150 points still available in the remaining 6 races. Starting from pole position, the world champion looked like he might lose a place at the start of Rosberg. The Mercedes, driven by Nico Rosberg, second on the grid, nosed ahead into turn 1, despite Vettel leaning on him down the pit straight, but not Rosberg ran wide through turn 2, and Vettel was able to snip back ahead. Vettel proceeded to strip away at the front in trademark style, building a 5.2 lead in just 3 laps before being told to back up slightly by his management team to save his tires. Despite that, he continued to extend his lead, taking it out to 8.2 seconds before his rivals behind him started to make their first pit stops. Vettel was in total control when the safety car was deployed on lap 25 of 61 laps after Toro Rosso's Daniel Ricciardo crashed into the barriers at turn 18. His true superiority was demonstrated at the restart, however, on lap 31, when Vettel was told to push on to the limit to build the gap. His pace was breathtaking, from building a 3.2-second lead over Nico Rosberg after just 1 lap. He was 10 minutes ahead after 4 and 22 seconds ahead after 10 laps. It was mind-blowing, said BBC F1 technical analyst Gary Anderson. Vettel was able to make it stop without losing the lead and control the race to the end. The German made a joke about being booed again on the podium, which is becoming routine. On to tennis. Andy Murray will undergo surgery on a long-standing back injury today, Monday, and is unlikely to play again this season. The 26-year-old has a disc problem in his lower back and is set to miss this year's remaining tour events, including November's World Tour Finals in London. The injury fed up in May, forcing him to withdraw from the French Open. He returned to become Britain's first male Wimbledon singles champion since 1936, but struggled on the hard courts and lost in the US Open quarterfinals. Murray repeated on Thursday, having an operation on Monday. We'll let everyone know how it goes. I'll be back stronger. Finally, on our new segment, the St. Lucian women volleyball team took part in the North-South Continental Championship in Nebraska. Despite a valiant effort from our women, they lost to Puerto Rico, Canada, and Cuba. Kashima Noel, who was a guest in Sports Night, performed admirably despite the defeats. Better luck to them next time. This concludes the new segment on Sports Night. Please welcome Hassan, who now will interview our guests, 2 talented young swimmers. Hassan, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Dyah, and good evening to all viewers, all listeners, and we'd like to say, just sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And tonight we have, we're in for a treat. Tonight we have 2 young, talented sportsmen in St. Lucia. and they they are very, 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 dedicated to their work. I think we have them on with us right now. We'll be just going over to them shortly. Uh, just so that you know, we have Nicholas, and also we have with us Jonathan on the show. I think the guys are with us right now. Nicholas, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Wonderful this evening.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yes, Nick, how are you doing this evening?
How are you doing? Good.
Speak up, Nick. Speak up. Speak to them.
I'm good.
Yeah, so we great. We have your dad in the background, also with you, and we have your older brother there as well. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I just like to ask you, do you enjoy swimming?
Oh yes, I do enjoy swimming a lot.
Okay. What is one of your favorite moments so far? What's one of your favorite moments?
In swimming,
That's right.
my favorite moment is swimming. I guess I don't know, like in swimming, like all the um all moments are like one of my favorite moments. Like in Trinidad, I guess
Yes.
that's one of my favorite moments in my swimming career with my swim team.
Yes. And you had fun down in Trinidad?
Pardon?
You had fun down in Trinidad?
Oh yes, I had lots of fun actually.
Okay, so Nicholas, it says here that your birthday is actually next month, and that's the 10th of October. By then you will be 13. I know that you attend currently the St. Mary's College. You attended before that Dame Paulette Louise Primary School. And can you let me know you're currently part of a club, a swim club?
Yes.
Okay, what swim club is it?
The Racers Swim Club.
Racers Swim Club. Is that the swim club? Is Brad in that swim club? Bradford Worrell?
Yes, he is in that swim club.
Okay, yes, wonderful. I think he made mention of you guys some time ago to us. He's truly an awesome guy, very dedicated to the sport, and it's nice to see some youngsters like you guys coming on. So you represent St. Lucia, am I correct?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I did.
also, you're also part of the team that went to the OECS Championships. You went there as a reserve back in April this year.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what was that experience like?
Well, as a reserve, I didn't really go, but the fact that I was sharing with the children, that was like good enough for me. With the
Okay.
team.
So you had some great experience there, just being
Yeah.
around them. Okay,
Yeah.
and you traveled. I know you went to Barbados a few times. Recently in August, you traveled with the Barbados team, and you're part of the national team in the Goodwill swim competition.
Yes.
You got a medal there, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What event and what medal?
Well, I got 2 medals. An individual one, that's like a silver in my 100 backstroke, and a bronze in the relay.
Wonderful. And you're gonna get the gold, right, very soon.
Uh-huh.
So let me ask you, Nicholas, how's it in terms of swimming among your friends? Is it a sport they talk about a lot, or is it a sport that definitely can do with some youngsters involved in it?
It's not really a sport they talk a lot about. They talk a lot about football kind of thing.
So you think there's room for plenty youngsters to come to join a club and be
Yeah.
part of? All right, great.
Yeah.
So Nicholas, I wanted to ask you, one of your goal this year. I know that your dad did make mention of that, and it's to make the OECS swim championship.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And so that's a done deal, right? That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you make that team, do you know when you have to represent the national team? What month? What time of year?
No, I don't really know when I have to represent.
In November. It's November.
Oh, I think it's
November.
now. November.
November.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So do you know that? I mean, once you make that team, we'll be inviting you to the show once again.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yeah.
will be invited.
Yes.
Yes, and can you tell us your favorite food? What's your favorite food?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
All right, and in terms of what you want to be, you know, your future or in future, what's your personal goal like? What area you'd like to venture?
Um, I want to be a marine biologist. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, great. I mean, it was nice having you on the show. We will be interviewing your brother, and you could stay along because just before we end, we'd like to just speak to you too. So thank you ever so much, Nicholas, and all the best.
All right. It was good to be on the show.
Wonderful, man. Jonathan.
Hey, how's it going? I'm good.
Wonderful,
You?
wonderful. Doing great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at you know, it looks like it runs in the family, right?
Yeah.
Let me guess, is your dad into swimming?
Yeah, he's a swim coach, so I take it that he is.
All right, great. So you started your career at the age of 11.
Yeah, around that time.
Okay, so so your brother started a little earlier than
Yeah.
you, right? Because he's 12, he'll be 13.
Yes.
All right. You could let us know like what is your favorite thing about swimming, like what you like best about the sport?
Okay, my favorite part of swimming is traveling, going everywhere with the team, and just being out of here, being out of island, and being exposed to new things overseas, exposed to new culture, and also meeting new friends overseas and making best times.
All right. And you really enjoy just the being around persons and everything like that, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay. And what's your favorite? What's one of your moments that you would always remember so far? Well, so far that is.
Okay, so far is when I broke the 800 national record at Rack Invitational. That was my most memorable moments. I really enjoyed that day. I actually cried tears of joy when I broke the national record. Yeah.
Wonderful. And national record, is it at your age group or is it just
It's
national record?
both my age group and general.
Oh wow! At the age of 17, right?
Uh-huh.
Wonderful. You in July, I'm sorry, in August, you did travel with the team to Barbados. You traveled as national team in the Goodwill Games, it's like your brother did. How was
Yeah.
that?
It was great. I went best times on all my swims there. I don't think there was a swim where I quit on time, so I just dropped time like nothing.
So you see, it's something that is interesting. What you said earlier, you know, you just like to travel. You like being among the other persons, among the other swimmers, your teammates, etc.
Yeah.
And that's something that I guess in any sport you do is a good thing because you know it helps motivate everybody. So you're currently at Safa Lewis Community College, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, experience there though.
It's okay. It was stressful, but just discipline and balancing everything, balancing the work, the swimming, everything. I guess that's
Nice,
how it is.
nice. And in terms of your favorite food, same thing like your brother or something, Brent?
I love burgers. I love burgers, pizza, and soda,
And
and spaghetti.
Wonderful. Spaghetti. Oh,
I still love spaghetti.
is that a swimming thing? Spaghetti? Is that
Yeah, we spaghetti is like the main meal for swimmers after a long practice. No matter if it's morning or night, spaghetti is the thing to eat after practice.
okay? So I should eat some spaghetti. That way I could break the record. I'm sure. I'm sure. Your career. What is it that you wanna pursue? What do you'd like to be?
Two things currently. I want to be a pilot, a commercial pilot, and I also want to be an Olympic swimmer, an Olympian, in the 1500 freestyle and the 800 freestyle for smaller meets, but I still want to be a world record holder in these events.
Wonderful. So pilot. I mean, it's something to be in the water and something to be in the air,
Yeah,
right? so so you wanna master both aspects.
yeah. Try to stay off of the land. You know, be up there and be down there more than I'm on land.
Wonderful. And in terms of your training regimen, what you guys really do when it comes to training? Do you could explain to us how does that go about?
Oh well, normally training is I don't even know how to describe it. It is just hard. Getting in there after school, after a long day at school, and then you know you have coach screaming at you on deck, telling you what to do, and you're like, dude, please, I had a long day. Sometimes you even uh, we have these bad thoughts, but in the end, we still end up achieving what we came to do. We go, we sprint, we do a lot of pacing, dry land, weights, and all of these things. So yeah, it's hard, but it's beneficial. It helps. We see the
Wonderful.
results at swim meets.
So
Yeah.
influence of how's it to have someone like Bradford with you guys?
Oh, Brad he's wonderful, man. He's a good source of motivation. He's a cool guy. He's funny. um, yeah, Brad is just he's a fundamental part of the swim team. He's like one of the backbones of the team. Yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful. Uh, well, basically, I mean, it was really nice thing having you guys on the show tonight. Looking forward to inviting you again because I mean it's really nice to feature our local athletes, and you guys have really well based on what I'm seeing here, and you've set I mean you have a record, and it's something great. So all those listening, I'm sure, will know that hey, this is a sport that they can send their children in. This is a sport that you can start
definitely.
out as young as 11, as young as 8, like Brad said, even 5. I mean, you could just start as early as possible, and it's really nice to have you and your brother out there, and I trust that you guys are encouraging other persons to join in the sport, right?
Yeah,
Great,
definitely.
great. So before we end, how's your experience tonight on SSN School
It
Sports Night?
was it was
How does it
awesome.
feel?
It was awesome. It's
Great, great,
quite shy
great.
at first, but hey, we're athletes. That's our job. Answer questions after swimming.
That's good. So you had plenty practice, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So next time we definitely would be looking to have Brad on with us alongside you guys. That would definitely help, and your dad would be definitely looking to have him on show with us. So that would be really really good. I know he's listening. I know he's next to you guys, and just want to thank you guys for making the time to be out there receiving. I know our viewers, our listeners, not only say the St. Lucia but around the world with about it. You guys could sit back, you could relax, enjoy the rest of the show. You could get your spaghetti, you could get your meatballs, you could get those that you have and get them done. So Nicholas, Jonathan, just like to thank you guys for being here this evening.
You're welcome, and thank you for making the time to interview us.
Not a problem. Enjoy.
You too.
Yes, sir.
Dyah.
Thank you, Hassan. That was a good interview. Lots of success in the coming future as they embark on their swimming careers. Hassan, tonight in the discussion segment we have lots to talk about. As you know, the weekend was an interesting one, particularly the Manchester Derby. But before we touch on those points, can we deal with some questions coming in from our viewers? We have a question that I'd like to ask you, Hassan. One of our viewers have asked, how secure is Darren Sammy's job as West Indies captain? What do you think?
Darren Sammy's job as West Indies captain. Let me just double check that Darren's watching before I answer. Do you mind? Dyah, it's I could say that Darren Sammy, I mean, I cannot say basically how secure his job is, but what I can say is that it's definitely less secure than it was in terms of competition. That's what it is. There's competition out there. Well, they've created that competition by giving Dwayne Bravo captaincy of the team when it comes to one-day cricket. Darren is still a captain in the Test version of the game, the 5-day version of the game, and he's the captain in T20. What happens? You give someone else the captaincy of one version of the game. It just adds to that competition, and you want to avoid any slumps because you know that there's another captain out there. So all I can say is it's as secure as his performance will be. It's not as secure as before, but I know Darren personally, and I will tell you this: Darren loves the competition. Darren will only be a better cricketer with the competition because, as you could see, he's definitely better in his game because of the fact that he knows that the world is watching him even more, and the cricketing board is watching him even more. So I definitely see that he's feeding off that pressure, and he's really putting in some better performances and showing what he's capable of. He's always been a go-getter, that is. He's always been someone who's been willing to put in the hard work, and I could see him remain as captain, especially in the T20 version of the game.
Well, I agree with you, but for different reasons. I'll tell you what my reason is. Let me just categorically state that I believe that Darren Sammy's job is secure. If we have to be fair to Darren Sammy, West Indies cricket in Darren Sammy has the second most successful Test captain. The first being Clive Lloyd of Guyana, of course. West Indies now stand at an all-high fifth in the Test rankings. And that is all under Darren Sammy's captainship. In addition to that, he's brought a trophy to us. And the performances are good. I remember he got the job, he was criticized by West Indies legends Ian Holden and the like about his methods. Even in the T20 ICC Championship, he was criticized for his decisions, and yet he brought home the goods. He won the trophy. Perhaps, maybe the small island prejudices surface now and then, but I think Sammy has acquitted himself excellently, and I think his job is secure. I think what West Indies has done, as you correctly said, is followed the model from the English cricket team, where they have a Test captain and a one-day captain, perhaps to create competition. But personally, I think Sammy's job is secure, and the future is bright. And he's only 28 years old. So really don't think he has any worry or major threat. Gale was captain and he did little good. Others have been before him. Shandapur struggled. Even Brian Lara struggled as captain. You can argue that Sam may not be a better cricketer than those players that you just mentioned, but irrespective of that, he's been outstanding. And you don't necessarily have to be outstanding as a performer. You have to be good, but not necessarily outstanding all the time to be an outstanding captain. And what I mean shows is that he's an outstanding captain. We have another question, Hassan, from last week as to who we think in the present crop of young West Indies fast bowlers has the most potential. My pick is Russell. I think he's amazing. In a recent game on the weekend, West Indies A against India A, he got a bigger trick for him 4 for 45. I think he has a bright future and he's only 25. He can only get better. Who do you think?
Well, I personally believe Holder is one of the gems that we currently have, and I mean, he just came onto the scene, West Indies scene, not too long ago, and I mean, he definitely has immense talent. If you look at West Indies fast bowlers, I mean, he in the current crop right now, he definitely has some awesome talent. I mean, you could just see himself and inform Ravi Rampal. Yes, Kima Roach to some extent, but when you look at, I mean, Ravi Rampal when you look at young, you may decide what you want as young, but Holder, I mean, is definitely one that we very happy to have added to the group of bowlers that we have. When you look at the fact that we have some great spinners right now on our team, Shillingford and Narine, and when you could add the likes of Holder, Jason Holder, to that attack, he definitely looks a threat. Very tall, get some bounce at times that really troubles batsmen. So definitely, I would say on that one, Holder would be very promising right now.
Now on to the football, Hassan. Last week, when we had a discussion, I went on about my personal views that your favorite player in the Premier League now, Marion Fellaini, is of little effect, would not benefit Man United, and would not be the marquee signing that he's made out to be. And he's in worth £27.5 million. Well, what more can I say? If I am to say any more, I will be criticized of being on the poor guy's back and asked to give him time. I think the blogs, the back pages, everybody watch the Manchester Derby will ask one question. Where is Manchester? Where was he? Now, let me defend the guy. I'm going to defend him. So, this is his first game from United.
You sure you want to defend it? You sure you want to defend it?
I'm defending. I'm going to defend him. He needs to blend into the team. It's his first game. He needs to catch up with the pace of the Premier League. Or he'll have a bad game, a bad day. And I really can't think of any other reason to defend him, unless there are reports of an injury. But I'm defending the guy. So, he needs to blend into the team. Okay? New players, when they come into new teams, need to fit in to new systems. But the guy's a midfielder, Hassan. And midfielders, any team, are the spine of the team, are the waist of the team. A team without an effective midfield is a losing team. Defenders can only defend when there are players in front of them who help them. Forwards can only score when midfielders provide the service for those forwards. Without an effective midfield, no team is successful. And we went Manchester United and bought a top-of-the-line central midfielder who's very, versatile as well. He can play in different positions. Because he ended up playing as a forward. Never left the pitch. So, here we go. There's one defense right out the door. The pace of the Premier League is too much for him. It will take him time to adjust. Hassan, the guy didn't come from Belgium or start Bucharest where he was. He didn't come from Spain or Argentina or Brazil or St. Lucia. The guy is an Everton star. 3 seasons at the top level. Everton finishing in the top 6 for the last 3 seasons, and Marion Fellaini being credited for outstanding performances. What pace does he have to catch up with? The guy knows the pace. He knows the game. There's another defense out of the door. Okay, he had a bad game. Let's not judge him on that. Right. So, perhaps we need to here. Because if the guy is having a bad game and you're an effective coach, what do you do? But I don't want to pull any punches yet and attack David Moyes because we need to give them time. I mean, let me categorically state that this isn't a crisis. This is a loss, Hassan. A devastating loss at that. It is far from a crisis. To everybody who's listening out there who are watching us, this is not a crisis. Manchester United just suffered a heavy loss. But you see, we need to look at it in context. It is a loss suffered on a new era with a new manager who made a new signing. I mean, I have to ask, how much worse would we have lost if we did not have Fellaini in the side? I'll tell you, the score would have been 2-1 because he caused 2 goals. One goal where he was supposed to be marking Yaya Toure, and Toure left him. Okay, he didn't go with Toure. You know why? Because he's 6'4", so he can get the ball in the air. Oh, that's why we signed him. He's tall, and he's got an afro. He'll get to the ball before another player. Nostalgia's got to the ball before him. The ball was knocked down, and Toure, the man he was supposed to be marking, scored. The second goal, he stood right there where Sergio Aguero passed the ball straight around him with ease. It was as if he was just a lamppost, ambulatory to say the least. 2 Nasri who pushed the ball down the flank, and what happens? The ball's at the back of the net. That happened in seconds. Many people commented, and these are their comments, that Marion Fellaini was just joking around, that he looked useless, and the list goes on and on and on. But let's not take my word for it. Let's read some of the comments and some of the tweets and the pre-match reviews. One guy in Manchester says, his name is Alvin Kwan, David Moyes took responsibility for this outrageous thrashing by Man City. First, he didn't do at all well in the transfer market, and second, he just hasn't got the experience of winning major trophies. I am shocked Manu's management picked someone with no credentials as David Moyes in the first instance. Is Man United not able to afford a more experienced manager? We aren't a mid-table team, hence there isn't any excuse to take a risk with an inexperienced manager like Moyes. And I agree, Hassan, but the risk was taken nonetheless. I don't see us buying good players as they won't join Man United, which appears to be going downhill. Now, I'm not exactly sure that's going to happen, right? David Roberts writes, is this a career-defining defeat for Moyes? Not yet, and I agree, it isn't. But a few more lackluster displays like this will have the crowd on his back. And that's a fact. Quite how the team that lumped home to a title a few months ago can be so debilitated by a change of manager is beyond me. Well, it isn't beyond me, David, to be frank. The players are failing him, and they are paid a hell of a lot of money to try harder, regardless of who's in charge. And then he goes on to speak on Fellaini. He says Fellaini is an epic mistake, but he does not need to dump Valencia as soon as possible. I mean, look, I could go on and read all the reviews and the comments all around the world. To dump Valencia, to dump Young, to dump Fellaini. The point of the matter is that Manchester United has not improved with very good financial resources, manager-wise or player-wise. And that, for me, is a catastrophe. And if you were watching the same game I was watching, you have to ask the question, what next for Man United? What next, I ask you, Hassan? What things happen next?
Well, I don't want to spend much time on this topic. So my
I
answer,
imagine you wouldn't want to.
my answer is going to be short. My answer is going to be short. There were two teams playing. There were two teams playing on Sunday. One was in red. I am in blue. I'm not saying which team I was backing, but let's just be honest here. Yes, Fellaini, he was responsible for the 2 goals personally. But the bigger picture, to be honest, is we played the wrong team tactically. I mean, it's not after an hour, let's say about 70 minutes into the game. I mean, we had that ball and played some great football with that ball. Missing the cutting edge in the box, maybe a result of probably missing Robin van Persie. But other than that, control of the midfield was with Manchester United and Tom Cleverley came on. So definitely, as you said, Fellaini is not quick, and you needed that extra person in the midfield aside him and Carrick. It was something that was seen. That still doesn't mean that he was a bad signing. I'm still not agreeing with that. I'm still agreeing with he will play a major part with in the team. But Manchester City wanted this more than Manchester United. So my thing on it is that Manchester City dominated that game. You could say almost in its entirety, except for the last 25 minutes thereof. But to be honest, Fellaini, yes, he was responsible for 2 of the goals. I can't say if he was not on pitch that these goals wouldn't happen. But what I can say is the right type of setup was done too late, and that is to have more persons in the midfield. No way that we would have done well against this City midfield at that point. But someone just asked a question. I think it's Nias. He asked a question. I'm trying to get it here. He says outside which teams outside Man City, Chelsea. 1 second. I'm just. United plus Arsenal and Liverpool have a realistic chance of challenging for European places this season. I think what he's saying is outside these teams, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, which teams you see really challenging for European place this season?
Everton.
Everton. I think that's your new favorite team, right?
No, not necessarily. I've always liked Everton, by the way. And I like the because Moyes showed that he could take little and get lots out of it. Unfortunately, Moyes went to a cruise liner, and I think he has no clue as yet. Let's give him time. Let's not rush to conclusions there and say he can't handle. Let's give him some time. But at the moment, it looks like he has problems at Man United in getting results. The big results.
What do you think about Arsenal's performance on the weekend?
So Arsenal may just regain the Champions League, the Premiership crown.
You even say
finally, yeah, I can't even say it because it's hard. I mean, we talk about the rivalry with Liverpool and Manchester United. Forget that. Let's look at Arsenal. I mean, at one point in time, Arsenal was the team to beat, and Man United was the team who could beat Arsenal. It was United who ended Arsenal's 38 unbeaten run, 38 game unbeaten run, with a Wayne Rooney penalty, incidentally. So Campbell got him down in the box. You can argue that Wayne Rooney sold the penalty to the referee, but there's a penalty nonetheless. I mean, between Arsenal and Man United, we've had the war of the pizza, where Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger pelted pizza at each other in the tunnel. So, you know, I'm happy where Arsenal is at the moment, not winning anything.
But you do know that Sammy's team, he support, do you know supports Arsenal? He had this shirt, this Arsenal shirt with number 88, Sammy written on. Do you know that team?
Yeah, well, I don't blame the guy because, you know, regardless of whatever team I support, I'm a football fan. And Arsenal have played attractive football and they can play. And I think they probably needed a player like Ozil, which Arsene Wenger pulled off the signing of the season in getting this guy over at the Emirates Stadium. And Arsenal are a team to watch out for. Forget the loss to Aston Villa. They may go on to win it. But Everton, under Roberto Martinez, you must admit, are playing the type of football that we want Manchester United to play. So I think Everton is the next team that may just push for a European spot if they can, keep it going like this, right? Spurs look solid with their new team, but they may run out of steam. We've seen it happen before. Regardless of that, I cannot stop going on this new signing of Spurs, Paulinho, £70 million. Fernandinho of Man City, £30 million. My goodness. Where are David Moyes' scouts? Are they in the Highlands in Scotland? Or are they moving north of the UK, heading towards Ireland? Or probably they're stuck in Belgium? Because I have no clue. Why couldn't we have signed a better Pentelani? The former Manchester United CEO, David Gill, has to come out in support of Edward Wood and David Moyes. He must.
But Dyah, I mean, you keep going back to Manchester United. Let us just step away from Manchester United. We need to step away.
Why? Every other team is doing good except United.
They're not doing it?
Every other team. I mean, what? Let's talk about Newcastle.
Okay, what is good for you? Okay, they lost 6. Is it 5-1 or 4-1? It's 4-1. Right? We lost 4-1. I mean, nobody can say that I support Manchester United, because when I talk, I am really not nice. I don't say we. I don't say. I mean, I'm wearing a blue shirt. Who was in blue on Sunday, Dyah?
Well, okay.
Wasn't it Manchester City in blue?
You want to be a City fan, you can be, but I'll tell you, and I will move away from Manchester United for now, and I'll return to that again, because this topic will go on all season, right? And we will see it unfold, that there will either be changes at Manchester United, or there will be problems that we have to deal with, but we will know by Christmas. But let's talk about Jose Mourinho. I think we had a question on Mourinho's usual controversy, and we know that he's a colorful character. Personally, Mourinho should be a Manchester United manager, and I think had it not been for Sir Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho would have been Man United's manager. But Mourinho decides to do what he does best: be assertive, take decisions, and know what he's about. I coined the phrase or the point that Juan Mata is on the decline in his career at a young age. And I was questioned by some people in the blog. Now, let me draw your attention to a particular player called Ricky Kaká. I think it's what?
Ricky Kaká, where is he from? Babuno?
He's Brazilian.
Oh, okay. just checking. I need to know where he's from. I don't know.
Yes, he's the Brazilian. Kaká was immense at AC Milan. And at the age of 24, and he was sold to Real Madrid. What a waste of money for £40 million. You could argue injury, whatever, but a waste of money because he was on a decline. Let's look at another guy again, the Brazilian Ronaldinho. Now, we can argue that Ronaldinho wasted his life away with a bit of drugs here and there and whatnot. That's what the reports have told us. Regardless of that, at the age of 25, 26, he was on a decline. So it is not unheard of. And there are other players that I can mention who maybe not so great, but at that age begin to struggle. I was even worried that Wayne Rooney may have fallen in that category. You see, when a player starts in the game at a young age, 16, 17, 18, the physical strains that his body goes through, it will take its toll. That's why players' careers are short. So when I say that Mata is on the decline at age 25, it's not me spitting something all widely. It is a reality, and the guy is on the down low. As a result of that, Mourinho's recognized it. And Mourinho wants him to step up. And Mourinho has been proved right. He put Oscar in. Oscar did some brilliant playmaking with and scored a goal.
But Dyah, you said I'm not sorry to cut you short. I mean, you said the guy is on the down low. But one matter played really well for Chelsea during last season. I mean, he was one of their better players last season. Yes, it does not show where you decline or not whether you are one of the better players. But to me, to make a statement like that about one matter, I mean, for some persons it may be the correct statement. But for me, here's how I view it. One matter probably just needs to be at another club. The same thing in Torres. I don't think Torres is that bad, you know. I just think Torres just needs to get out of Chelsea. You see some players. I mean, we can say they're bad. I mean, yes, I know. We got a call. I decided we should start a football team in Sanssouci, and one of the first players that called us for that wanted a transfer. In fact, we got a call, and we had to tell Chelsea we can't sign Torres. We simply can't. It's something. It was below 100 EC. I think they were asking for us to purchase him. But we seriously cannot buy him at his current form. But what I'm saying is that I mean, sometimes a player's form is also dependent on the team they are in. Some players just have not gone through. They can't go through that transition stage of one team to another. The type of play is another thing, because remember, Mourinho says if Mata cannot play his style of football, so it's not a matter. Sorry, no pun intended. But it's not. Sometimes it's not a matter of your current skills, but sometimes it's really the type of game that the team is playing is just not yours. So I wouldn't say that right now that it's really on the decline. Maybe to some extent based on how you watch it, but he's really a good player. I know he has a lot to offer. If Manchester wanted him, would you have them purchase him?
If I had to say, absolutely not. Because he's a player on the decline. It's the same as Fellaini. Let me use your words. He's a good player.
Fellaini is on the decline?
No. I said matter. Fellaini is neither going up, down, or sideways. He's just one place. And let me use words. Matter is a good player. Fellaini is a good player. Note, I said he's a good player. That doesn't mean that he's the type of player to do anything. Because in the game on Sunday, he was horrible defensively, horrible creatively. Well, he's never creative in the first place. And he just ran around like a headless chicken, strutting his long legs to no effect. But back on the matter subject, and you said Torres is in the wrong team. Again, Hassan, I disagree with you. I think Torres is washed up. If Rafa Benitez, the man who got the best out of Torres at Liverpool, could not get anything more than what he got out of him at Chelsea, no one else can. Benitez literally held Torres by the legs and squeezed him like you would squeeze a bottle of whiskey, trying to get every drop out of it.
I agree with you, but remember, there's one thing that has not been tried and tested with Torres, and that's him going to another club. That's him going to another club. Yes, he actually plays well in defense, but I mean, that's one thing that is missing. I believe that he should be, given I mean, and again, of course, the politics has that side whereby Chelsea does not want to let him go. They want to prove a point that he's worth that 50 odd that he paid for him. But let's just look at it. I do believe that Torres needs to go to another club if he does not perform up to standard this season. And I mean, he's a talented footballer. He may be on the down low at the moment. He may be missing opportunities. He should be scoring. But let's just remember who Torres was before. And I still believe, I mean, once someone has skill in front of goal, it's something that is there. I just believe there's something that is missing. And to be honest, he needs to go away from Chelsea if he doesn't show it off this time around. I mean, I'm getting a few. Here's the question. Just to go away from the football for a bit. Um, is it enough? Is enough being done by the authorities to develop less traditional sports in St. Lucia, like basketball and tennis? Um, just before you answer that, I just want to ask our producer back there. Can we have 8 more minutes? All right. That he said yes, but he smiled, so we know he has a curfew. Go ahead, Dyah.
But Hassan, the less traditional sports like basketball and tennis in St. Lucia and the Caribbean at large all receive the same struggles, all have the same difficulties. The support from an infrastructure point of view and from a financial point of view. I mean, it is bad enough that football in St. Lucia struggles the way it has due to lack of original infrastructure and money to develop the talent. Competing with football to get on the way is basketball and tennis. Now, cricket, due to the factor of the tenacity of certain players and the chance that West Indies took on Darren Sammy, which has paid off tremendously, and we now have Johnson Charles and a few others coming up in the ranks. You know, we can say that that may create a catalytic approach for the rest of the sports. I would like to see the kickoff in St. Lucia. And to do that, a league must be started. And I think there was talk of a league at some point in time. I have no idea what that is right now. But it has to start. There has to be some kind of organization. We need to begin to think of sports from a commercial point of view. The commercial point of view is to make money, literally, and allow athletes to believe that if they perform admirably with the highest skill and level, that they will get some financial rewards. That way, companies would sponsor various teams. There would be investment. Infrastructure would go up, and the government would have to do their part. And that would produce the talent that's necessary. And then we could look at, you know, feeding the U.S. market with NBA players. I mean, once upon a time, a Chinese player would never play in the NBA. And now there are a few Chinese players, there are a few Japanese players, and it's the same as baseball. All around the world, they're trying to attract talent. And, you know, Cuba and Puerto Rico seem to be the ones feeding all the big clubs in America. So in the same way, for the less traditional sports in St. Lucia to develop, there has to be commercial interest. There has to be some financial viability, and the organizations that spearhead the sports has to implement it, reach out to the private business partners out there and to the government and to create something.
Yes, I totally agree with you, and it's something that we've said many times. I mean, on and off air, we've spoken about it, that sports in St. Lucia needs to have a bit of fun in it. And the fun, let me tell you, is not the sport itself. The sport itself will be the fun with the people there. You need to get the people there. I mean, there's so much, like watch T20 cricket. I think we should learn from that. It's not just about the cricket, it's about the fun that you have when you go to the, I believe that there should be more fun. There should be more entertainment at the games. I believe from the school aspect of it, the school students need to be allowed the time to go and watch their school play. I mean, nowadays it's getting worse. You know, students don't get to go and watch cricket. I mean, they say, "Oh boy, it's a whole day out for the kids." But come on, yes, it's one thing. Yes, education, but sports also plays a great part. And I believe, I mean, you're not asked to send the whole school out to watch the game. So it starts even from there. I know we deal in a world where everybody's online, and kids are fast growing up from you know, going and play sports. People prefer to go and play Candy Crush and stuff like that. That's the sport. So why can't we have some candy at a game and have persons crush the candy? Something. I mean, it may be a joke, but honestly, it needs to be entertainment. Games need to show on television. They need to show online, and that's something that we're definitely working on ourselves. So that you've hit it on the spot, and that's the first time tonight you actually made a great contribution. I must applaud you on that one. And we have one question here just before we wrap up.
You
It's
mean
Roger
the first time you grant me?
you're breaking up. Is Federer past his best? Dyah, quickly, you only have 30 seconds to answer that one. Has he passed his best? Can he ever win another Grand Slam? And you don't have 30 seconds. Just one answer for each. Is Roger Federer past his best?
Yeah, I break up conveniently for you, I know. No, he's really on the back end of his career, but he isn't past his best. And yes, he can win another Grand Slam. Roger Federer will win another Grand Slam, maybe even two before he retires.
Okay, next question. Will you be returning to, will you be coming back to football? I know that you retired back in the 60s. Would you be...
But, sorry, Hassan, you're breaking up right now. I can't hear you. You seem to be breaking up. You seem to be breaking up. I can't hear you right now.
All right, so just before you wrap up, Dyah, I'd just like to thank our viewers. I'd like to thank persons who stay with us. I know some persons who would have experienced some technical difficulties this evening. That's due to the fact that we only catered for 10 viewers tonight, and we incidentally got hundreds of viewers coming on. Very for that. But on a more serious note, just like the fact that you guys were there with us and you got to see our feature of our local talent. That's with Nicholas and Jonathan Mclennon, two brothers who are part of the swim club and represent St. Lucia. And I mean, you have them breaking their personal best, breaking records, and it's great to know such talent that we have in St. Lucia, and we wish those guys the best. Remember, you could join us for another episode of SSN. Your question you send to SLU Sports Night, night as in NITE, SLU Sports Night at gmail.com. You send questions there. You could follow us on SLU Sports Online. That's on Twitter. You could follow us at SLU Sports Online, and also on Facebook, SLU Sports Online. We would like to thank those who sent in the questions, sent in the comments. We still have many questions and comments to go through. Next week's show is going to be a special show. We'll have plenty drama in there. I know that our producer has ready. Director is definitely ready to set up that show. And there's talk that Dyah is requesting his transfer request was said. I think that the show called him up. We rejected that request. So Dyah, I'd like to thank you for being there this evening and making this show what it is. SLU Sports Night, wonderful show. Monday, 8 p.m. Remember, guys, www.slusportsonline.com. Good night. Dyah?
Hassan, thank you for your advert. Once again, we'd like to thank our viewers who joined us tonight and watched Sports Night online tonight. Your host, Dyah Francis, leaving you with this final thought that Manchester United can only beat a weak team. Good night.